The One and Only Multiverse presents A Grand Unified Theory. Thomas Edison, 1847 to 1931, age 84. Nikola Tesla, 1856 to 1943, age 87. Electricity, electric charge, direct current, alternating current, quantum fields, insulators and electromagnetism. Website and video are not AI generated. Your host, Richard E. Noer. To understand electricity, electric charge, direct current and alternating current, you must first master the phenomena of metallic and non-metallic quantum fields and polarized magnetic flow. Copper and iron fields are similar, but different, and this affects how copper electrons behave when stimulated. Quantum field construction, ring and torus, are critical to interpret and explain electron movement and insulators. Electron. A negatively charged structure of closed, CCW looping twine-size fields, passing through a center axis. Made from the looping energies of the proton's quantum ring fields. It has a magnetic horn torus configuration and resides orbiting in the outer ring fields of protons, or atoms. B. Each of the electron's closed looping fields has dominating CCW spin energy, which in turn, gives it a negative charge. C. The whole electron normally is rotating CCW, if not encountering contradicting forces. D. Because of the pole-to-pole axis nature of torus fields produced by spinning atomic cores of atoms, the electron cannot, and does not orbit in these fields. It is repelled by them. The electron can only orbit or pass through ring fields. Are you ready for this? It is another prediction of TM theory that fits with all we know. TM is predicting, if you forcibly move magnetized iron quantum torus fields through copper quantum ring fields in a wire, you can displace the electrons from their orbits in the wire, thus creating a current between copper atoms. What? Say that again. That's right, it is the magnetic force difference between iron torus and copper ring fields that makes this event happen. The displacement force can be either attraction or repulsion, depending on the movement of the iron torus magnetic fields. This in turn is what produces movement of the copper electrons. At the very basic level, it is the force of CW and CCW magnetic fields and their complex interactions that produces electricity. As long as I have been alive, it has never to my knowledge, been adequately explained how electricity becomes a force. TM says, it is all possible because of magnetism and electromagnetism. The movement of electrons in a magnetic field. See what can happen, when you use all the tools of discovery, not just one. Quantum fields of copper and magnetic iron. Electric charge, positive, negative. A positive charge is the presence of a proton, or quantum ring fields with a deficit of electrons. A. It is the spinning atomic core that creates alternating, quantum, magnetic ring fields. Because of rotational and counter-rotational energy, the outer ring fields of protons have a thirst for an equalizing force. B. Protons and atomic nuclei spin, thus creating quantum fields with the same magnetic potential as the nucleus. A positive potential. When electrons form in quantum fields, they balance this force. If atomic quantum fields become electrically unbalanced, electrons will relocate to re-equalize the structure. Because of their small size, it is the electron that does the equalizing, not quantum field reconfiguring. Electron jumping to and from quantum fields is quick and easy. Now for an interesting observation, to create a quantum field positive charge, all you need to do is remove some ring fields, or their electrons from the outer orbits of atomic structures. This is done by physically or chemically moving some atoms, or magnetic ring fields. When these structures intersect the ones with more density, it is possible to strip off some quantum fields, or their electrons from the outer areas, thus leaving behind a body with quantum ring fields where electrons used to be. A deficit, positive charge. The electrons that now reside on the moving structure, an electron cloud, will then draw together if they have no place to go. This is because of the chaos between the electrons' pole and plane orientation. They are not bonded together. Now, if the circuitry, or proximity of the magnetic difference between electrons and deficient quantum fields establish a magnetic path, the electrons will flow with lightning speed to fill the vacancy. In other words, it is only the electrons that can equalize electric charge. The protons do not do the moving. The threshold for movement all depends on the level of isolation or resistance in the medium. Direct current, alternating current. When you have a positive and a negative charge, nature tries to equalize itself. If you have a wire and connect it between the charges, the electrons that are not tightly bound to the atoms in the wire will displace each other and try to equalize the potential difference. The streaming motion of electrons of the wire are in one direction only, DC. There is a problem with this energy, it diminishes greatly with the length of the wire. Tesla took the transmission of this force up to a new level. He discovered that if you periodically reverse the positive and negative poles of the charge, you can greatly increase the efficiency and distance of transmission of this wave energy through the wire, AC current. Hence the AC wave generator was born. Edison didn't like this idea and tried to prove that his DC current was superior. Tesla on the other hand had science and undeniable proof on his side, and won the battle. This at a fundamental level defines electricity and electric currents. Finally, as you know by now, electric currents are the jumping of electrons from atom to atom in metallic elements. This is possible because of the closeness of quantum ring fields, but, if the quantum fields are wide apart, electrons won't be able to flow. Jump orbits. Can you guess where this is relevant? You're right, in a silicone glass rod. An insulator. More quantum torus and ring field configurations. A glass rod with fewer quantum ring fields and a deficit of electrons. A glass rod, silicone, also has quantum torus and ring fields. You don't notice them because they are weaker in dark matter, and don't interact with iron filings. If you sweep away the glass rod's outer quantum ring fields and its electrons by rubbing it with a cloth or fur, then move it closer to a pile of small bits of paper, the quantum magnetic force will attract the paper to the rod. It is the stronger, more positive magnetic force of the glass rod's quantum ring fields, and the deficit of electrons, is what attracts the paper, not so much the gravity of the core protons and neutrons. Now on the other hand, if you move the glass rod to a very close proximity with the metallic quantum fields of a bar magnet, there will be little or no attraction-repulsion force. This is because the perimeter torus fields of the magnet are strong, but the perimeter fields of the glass rod ring quantum fields are weaker, spread out, and their intervals don't match. There is an exception. At the subatomic level, if you force silicon atoms close enough to iron atoms, there will eventually be a ring field attraction-repulsion force from both atoms. This is because of the increasing concentration of inner quantum fields of both elements. If you find just the right distance, they may lock in a weak SML state, but they would not be able to share electrons because of quantum spacing. I use silicon to illustrate a concept, but, to be more accurate, I should use cobalt. This is because cobalt quantum ring fields have similar quantum field intervals with iron, and would most certainly lock together and be able to share electrons. On the other hand, the glass rod of silicon has wider intervals of quantum fields, thus creating much less of a close attraction-repulsion force, and it wouldn't be able to pass electrons to the outer quantum fields of the glass rod. An insulator. That's it, the whole interacting forces of electricity and polarized space. The standard model of the universe cannot explain these phenomena. This is because it hasn't correctly identified the true nature of magnetism and its quantum field entanglements. 1. The vacuum of space would have no interacting magnetic particles. 2. Primal space has no polarized or a magnetic force of any kind. It has weak particle movement, which in turn only creates linear space. There is no north-south pole energy of magnetism. 3. On the other hand, because of spinning particles that a black star supernova created, space now has a fluid, polarized spatial force of height, width and depth, with the ability to expand, compact, and have a magnetic flow. XCP dark energy. This, and only this space, supports electricity. You will only know the real cause of electricity and electric charge, if you can understand what creates magnetism and how it works. TM has discovered this, and now, so have you. Your host, Richard E. Noer. Young me. Mini me. Email, knowerastronomy@gmail.com. Here in a multiverse, our goal is to find the cosmic truth. No matter where, or how far it takes you, the universe truly does unify. If you get the basics right,